Till Death Do Us part. Sky and Tony have been together in a relationship full of ups and downs. Looking to correct things between one another, they decided to take a trip to the cabins in the mountains to celebrate 5 years of marriage. The cabin was recommended to them by Tony's good friend Marcus, whose grandfather used to live up at the cabin. On a trip that would make or break the relationship, Sky and Tony prepared for a night they would never forget. It was a cold Friday afternoon when Sky and Tony arrived at the cabin. It wasn't that far from home. It was only about an hour drive for the couple. Because those in the closest proximity to the cabin were over 5 miles away, Tony thought it would be a perfect opportunity for him and Sky to fully spend time with one another. At first, everything went according to plan. The two started out by taking a nice hike, conversating, and taking in the scenery. After the hike, the couple went fishing together, played games, and once it got late, the two had a movie date. During the movie, the two heard a loud banging noise coming from under the cabin. Sky, who was terrified, started panicking, and Tony comforted her, saying, "It's probably nothing, Sky. It'll stop soon." Then the banging stopped all of a sudden, and Sky and Tony were relieved. But a few seconds later, the banging continued, only this time, louder. Now Tony was spooked, and the couple decided to go investigate. As Tony approached the basement door, it flung open, and the two were shocked to see there was a third party in the house with them. Standing in fear and shock, Sky passes out. Tony gets a look at the man and points out how he closely resembles a man in the family pictures in the cabin. This was no other than Marcus's grandfather. The man came rushing at them, looking to have been holding a knife, and Tony defended Sky and himself, disarming Marcus's grandfather and knocking him out in the process. Hours later, the local authorities came and arrested Marcus's grandfather, who had been hiding up at the cabin hoping to catch victims who were sent by his grandson. A couple of days later, Marcus was also arrested as an accomplice, as he knew exactly what his grandfather was doing. As for Sky and Tony, the two bonded on that trip by fighting through adversity, working together, and protecting one another. They now had a bond that was unbreakable.